Hello, Virgo. Hello, my lovely Virgos. This is Capricorntigress, Adrian Igo of Astrology, A Look Inside, coming to you with your December 2018 reading. It's the last reading of 2018. And, oh, by the way, I'm doing this on Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. So let me start with, let's see. First, I don't know why, but I feel like I need my magic amethyst. Yeah, let's go ahead with that. So let me just take a look here. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So what I'm picking up here, more than anything for the month, you're going to have a lot of emphasis in the home and family for the month. I mean, the Sun and Jupiter and Mercury are in the solar fourth house. They're down low. It's, you know, it's down opposite your midheaven, but it is there. It just means there should be more emphasis on, like, probably your mom and your family and your home life and comfort and security, and maybe even refurnishing your home or sprucing up your home. I could see where you might even have done that because Venus just went through Libra and now it's in Scorpio. Yeah, I can see that happening. You've got Mercury down there in the fourth house, and that's going to be retrograding into Scorpio, into the third house. So there's communication going on, and there's a lot of home life going on. I can see you cleaning out your home and maybe just redecorating with all your little Christmas ornaments. I could see that. It's going to bring, that'll bring you joy. You're going to have a lot. Do stuff around your house and with your family this month. You'll be happy. It'll make you happy. Now, all throughout the year, you know, you've been dealing, and all of us really have been dealing with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Those are two heavy hitters, and if you don't know how heavy they are, I just recorded something for Capricorns. It's worth listening to. I mean, that stuff is devastating. But in your case, it's in the solar fifth house, and that has to do with the area of, like, children. I know if any of you have been trying to have kids, it's probably been very difficult right now. But I can say with Pluto there, Pluto tends to, like, destroy the area and then it builds it back up. So if you tried and you lost your child, you may be able to try again either after, I would say somewhere along the line. Because eventually what happens wherever Pluto is it becomes strong. So you might actually end up having a lot of children after, if you work at it. It just is the way Pluto works. But also just know that it is with Saturn and Pluto in the fifth house. It's telling you to be cautious with your risk. Be cautious with what you're risking. What are you risking? I mean, there's love there, there's romance there, there's children there, there's fun there, there's gambling there, there's entrepreneurial pursuits there, but whatever it is, you better be deadly serious and not just fun and games. And also with Pluto there, you better be aware of the explosive power of Pluto. Okay, it's not to be messed with. So whatever you do in those areas of fun and games and like playing the lotto and running a business and falling in love and romance and flirting and all that kind of stuff, children, dancing, all that kind of stuff. Take it seriously. It's time to take that stuff seriously. Okay? Chiron is in your seventh house, and it's going to be going direct during the month. Neptune is there, Mars is there, all in Pisces, all in the seventh house, all in the area of, like, partnerships and relationships and marriage partners and maybe even your enemies. And so just know that with, those planets in the seventh, they're going to be squaring the fourth. So I'm wondering how that's going to work. Like, if you're going to have problems in the family, and, I'll think about that a little bit more. I'll be talking about that, by the way, when I do the aspects. because that 4th, 7th house means something. There's going to be a lot of activity between those houses this month, or in the month of December. Mars will be going from Pisces into Aries, which means it'll be going into your solar 8th house. That's money and resources. Also sex, death, but, you know, money and resources. That means if there's money owed to you, it could come in your direction. Also be careful, because it is the house of death and Mars is there, and yeah, you just want to be careful. Don't slow down and don't try to do things too fast, because that's how Mars gets you, is that you're rushing, and you miss something. So don't do that. You know, make sure you take your time, be cautious, and you know, really take your time. Uranus is also going to be in that 8th house of Aries. So, you know, with Uranus there and Mars there in the 8th house, I don't like that. I think it could be sudden accidents or something like that. So I really want you to be cautious, take your time, watch yourself, you know, when you're crossing the streets, or when you're in a vehicle, or driving, or even out in you know, in public. But it's something sudden. Could also, you know, with Uranus and Mars in the 8th house, could mean a sudden windfall. I'm telling you, play the lotto. If you play the lotto and you win, oh, that's amazing. Because Uranus and Mars in the 8th house could mean a sudden legacy, a sudden inheritance, a sudden win. I can see that. The North Node has moved into Cancer, and that means it's in your solar 11th house of friends. So that means this is a great time to start building and working on developing friendships, but not just any old friendships. I'm talking about friendships that have to do with like groups and organizations and associations that you might belong to, like professional friends, like your group of professional friends, like associates. That's expanding. That's where you're gonna or should hopefully put a lot of emphasis in the month, is in that area. And so I do hope that you do put your emphasis there, because you could do really well. I mean, there's quite a bit of the North Node's going to be, it's what you're supposed to do. So I hope you do that. And the reason why I was about to say there's quite a bit of emphasis is because with Pluto and Saturn down in the 5th house, it's actually, even though it's the 5th house, it's opposing the 11th house, it's actually highlighting and putting emphasis on that 11th house of friends anyway. So I would really make sure you build up that area. So yeah, that's my personal reading and outlook for you guys for the month of December for Virgo, my beloved Virgos. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to look over the calendar for the month of December, and I will tell you where the aspects are, tell you how those aspects could affect you based on your chart. Okay. On the 1st of December, Mercury enters Scorpio, and Scorpio is, your 3rd house of communications. Now, you know, the funny thing is, it's retrograding, so it's going to be a really strange thing, because it's retrograding from the 4th house to the 3rd house. It's one of those days where, you know, Gemini in the 3rd house, I get it. For you, it's just communication. So you might be writing, talking, communicating, speaking, organizing things, just really Mercury oriented. And since Mercury is your ruling planet, I can see where it's going to be a major move when it's retrograde like that back into the 3rd house. And the 3rd house is the natural house of communication, or Mercury. So Mercury is technically going back into its own house. But it's retrograde, so it's going to be a little bit weird. I would take the time to like review all of my document and correspondence and emails and voicemails and letters and all those types of things, and get that all shored up so you'll be prepared when it goes back and it goes direct and goes into your 4th house again. On the 2nd, the sun is square Mars, and the sun is in Sagittarius. That is that 4th house that I mentioned to you, and Mars is in that solar 7th house, as I mentioned earlier. So you're going to be feeling this friction, this tension, this stress coming from like the home to like your partnerships, or your home to your marriage partner, or husband or wife, or home to your, or family to your home or partner, or something within that dynamic, or your security and comfort may be at odds with your partnerships, or you know, business partners even, or your marriage. So I'm just wondering, just be aware that on this day, there could be anger, there could be arguing. Make sure you don't fight with your partner that day. That's the 2nd, so be aware of that. On the 5th, the sun is square Neptune, and the sun once again is in the 4th house, and Neptune is once again in the 7th house. This is a ongoing area of concern, and there could be some sadness here. So I'm hoping that you know, just relax. I'm hoping that things don't go too bad, but just relax that day. Hopefully things will get better, because on the next day the new moon goes into Sag, so now you've got the moon down there in the 4th house too. But it is a time of new beginnings, and maybe you'll have some new hopes and dreams and things for your little home, and for your family, and for your comfort and your security, and maybe even your mother. This could be your mother. I hope it's not a situation where like your mother is making, you know, making a little bit stress for you at home. Now Mercury goes direct in Scorpio, and when that happens, it's on Thursday the 6th, and when it happens, you're going to feel like you can think again, because that Mercury is in your 3rd house, and it is, you know, it's transiting the house of communication, but at least it's going direct, and soon it'll go back into Sag, so that's a good thing. It should be a good time for communicating, though. I can see that. And Mars is conjunct Neptune in that 7th house, so there could be like an increase in, I want to say delusions, all of those, disillusionment. I mean, I'm just wondering, it is in the 7th house, so it, just hope that things are okay there. That's your 7th house of partnerships. Watch your partnerships, whether it's your marriage or your business partnerships, and be aware that there could be some enemies out there. You know, just be aware of that. On the 8th, Chiron goes direct in Pisces. More emphasis in the 7th house, but whatever's gone wrong there, you can now heal it when Chiron goes direct. So that's actually a good thing. On the 12th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. So now that Mercury is moving out of that 3rd house back into that 4th house and into Sagittarius. And that is an area that has to do, as again, as I said, your home, your family, your security, your comfort, your mother. So, you know, it's interesting to see how that's going to play out in reality in your life. The sun enters, or excuse me, the sun in Sagittarius squares the moon in Pisces on the 15th. This, I feel like, it's going to be the culmination of all the little nitpicky things that have been going on. Please try to avoid arguments on the 15th, though, because that's, again, that 4th house and 7th house. And so, you know, it just might be something that just stress, a little bit of stress that day. On the 20th, Sun is trine Uranus. And that Sun, again, the 4th house, Uranus in the 8th house, which I talked about earlier. Now, with that Sun down in the 4th house is endings, by the way. And also, I always think of it as like just feeling comforted and secure and relaxing and chilling at home somewhere. But it's going to be trine Uranus that day, which is in your 8th house. Maybe you'll feel like you want to take a chance and talk about some deep things, or express something, or just take a chance on maybe asking for money owed to you. That is the 8th house. On the 21st, the Sun enters Capricorn, and it is happy winter solstice. It is winter solstice. And so people are going to start thinking a little bit more seriously, especially you, with the sun now in your fifth house with Saturn in Pluto. And Venus is trine Neptune. And that Venus is in your, Neptune is in the seventh and Venus is in the third. So you might be able to communicate with your partner, communicate with your husband or wife or whatever, and maybe smooth over any issues that you guys have had up until now. On the 25th, the moon is in Leo, and that is a very optimistic place for it to be. And the moon in Leo is trine Jupiter in Sagittarius. So you're going to get more of that fourth house, right? Family. And the Leo moon is in the 12th house. So this could have something to do with your family, especially your mother's side of the family, I think, because the 12th house rules that, and then the 4th house rules the mother. But it should be a very Merry Christmas and a very happy holidays to you and your family. On the 29th, the moon is in Libra, and the sun is in Capricorn squaring that moon in Libra. So it could be a stressful day. It's probably going to have some stress having to do with your money, because the Libra is in your solar second house of money and what you earn and what you possess. And Capricorn is in the fifth house of hopes and dreams and funds and fun and happy things. It could be that you really did play the lotto and you made some money. Squares is action. Okay. On the 31st, Mars enters Aries, and that is what I talked about before. Mars in that 8th house. So make sure that you're cautious throughout the month of December or January, because this is going to be January. When Mars is in the 8th house, it always seems to lead to accidents, and you do have Uranus there. So I really want to make you aware of that, okay? Anyway, this has been my reading for you wonderful Virgos. I love you, Virgos. My sweet daughter is a Virgo. So I want to wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and much love and light to you all, and sharing all my love and blessings with you. Namaste. Bye now.